In the far north of Minnesota, where the land runs down to the cold blue edge of Lake Superior, a river throws itself over a wall of ancient black rock. The water gathers, folds, and drops in tier after tier, thundering white over dark stone worn smooth by countless ages, while all around it a forest of maple and birch burns red and gold in the autumn air. This is one of the best-loved places on the whole North Shore, a park built around the sound of falling water. Welcome to Gooseberry Falls State Park. We are on the north shore of Lake Superior, in the rugged northeastern corner of Minnesota, just up the coast from the harbor town of Two Harbors. Here the land rises in stony ridges above the greatest of the Great Lakes, and dozens of swift rivers come tumbling down out of the highlands to reach the water. The Gooseberry River is one of them, and where it nears the lake it makes the falls that give this beloved park its name. The centerpiece of the park is its waterfalls, a series of dramatic cascades that draw travelers from across the region. In full flow, the river surges over broad ledges in sheets of white water, filling the gorge with spray and a deep, steady roar that carries far through the trees. The falls are the beating heart of the place, powerful and ever-changing, swollen and wild after rain and softer in the dry days of late summer, always moving, always loud. All of this water belongs to the Gooseberry River, a North Shore stream that begins in the highlands inland and winds its way down toward the lake. For most of its length it runs quiet and dark between forested banks, gathering the rain and snowmelt of the North Country. But near its mouth the land drops away in a great stone staircase, and the calm river becomes a chain of thundering waterfalls, the reason this stretch of the coast was set aside and protected. There is not one waterfall here but several, each with its own character. The upper falls comes first, spilling over dark ledges in the quiet of the forest above. Below it the middle falls pours down in a broad and powerful curtain, the grandest of them all. And nearer the lake the lower falls slides over a final wall of rock before the river runs on to Superior. Together the upper, middle, and lower falls form one continuous descent of white water through the gorge. Look closely at the rock the water pours over, and you begin to read the deeper story of this place. The falls tumble over ledges of dark volcanic basalt, a hard, almost black stone that forms the bones of the entire North Shore. It is this durable rock that holds the shape of the falls, resisting the endless force of the river where softer stone would long ago have worn away. Every ledge and every tier of the cascade is carved from this ancient volcanic foundation. That black basalt is nothing less than ancient lava. More than 1 billion years ago, molten rock welled up and poured out across this land in flow after flow, layer upon layer of cooling lava, building the hard stone that underlies the coast today. Those long cooled flows are what the Gooseberry River now tumbles across, and what the waves of Lake Superior break against. The very ground here was born in fire in a world unimaginably older than our own. lava came from a wound in the earth itself. Around 1 billion years ago, the heart of the North American continent began to split apart along a vast crack in the crust, a great tear geologists call the Midcontinent Rift. As the land pulled open, molten rock rose to fill the gap and flooded the surface again and again. The rifting eventually stilled, but it left behind the hard volcanic rock that shapes the whole rugged North Shore, and the ledges of Gooseberry Falls with it. The story of the park is not only ancient. In the 1930s, in the hard years of the Great Depression, a work program called the Civilian Conservation Corps came to this stretch of the North Shore. Young men were put to work here in the woods and along the river, building the roads, paths, and structures that would open the falls to visitors for generations to come. Much of what makes the park feel so settled and handsome today is the legacy of their labor. What those crews left behind is some of the most beautiful stonework anywhere on the North Shore. Using the dark local rock quarried from the land itself, they raised sturdy walls, stairways, and structures that seem to grow straight out of the ground. The most famous of these is a long, graceful stone wall built along the river, a masterwork of fitted rock that has weathered the decades and become as much a part of the scenery as the falls it overlooks. Gooseberry became more than a single park. Set near the beginning of the coast road that runs up along Lake Superior, it grew into a kind of gateway, often the first great stop for travelers heading north into wilder country beyond. Its falls and stonework gave visitors a first taste of the beauty of this shore, and in doing so, it helped launch the whole North Shore as one of the most beloved destinations in the region, a threshold to everything that lies further up the coast. Below the last of the falls, the Gooseberry River completes its long journey. Cool and dark, it slides down through the final reach of the gorge and out across a stony shore to meet the immense blue body of Lake Superior. Here the roar of the Cascades gives way to the wash of waves on rock, fresh river water mingling with the vast cold lake. It is a quiet, elemental meeting, the small stream and the greatest of lakes joined at the edge of the continent. In autumn, the park puts on its finest show. The surrounding forest of maple and birch that covers these ridges turns brilliant, blazing into scarlet, orange, and gold across the hillsides above the river. The dark water and darker rock of the falls run through a world of fire, and the whole gorge glows with color under the low northern sun. It is the season that draws many to the North Shore, when the beauty of the land reaches its yearly height. And always, beyond the trees, there is the lake. Lake Superior is the largest of the Great Lakes and one of the largest lakes on Earth, an inland sea so vast it makes its own weather and stretches unbroken to the horizon. Its cold, clear water sets the whole mood of this coast, blue and immense and restless. The falls, the river, and the forest all live in its shadow, and every view here eventually finds its way out to that great shining expanse of water. Today, Gooseberry Falls remains one of the most cherished parks on Minnesota's North Shore, a place where ancient fire, rushing water, and human care all come together. The billion-year-old basalt still holds the falls, the Gooseberry River still runs down to Superior, and the old stone walls still trace the gorge as they have for the better part of a century. Season after season, the falls keep thundering, and travelers keep returning to stand before them. Dark basalt and a billion years of stone, thundering falls and a river running to the Great Lake, the handsome stonework of the North Shore, and the blazing color of autumn. Thank you for watching. Follow for more interesting people, places, and things we cover on the channel.